Hey guys, welcome to News Rocky. This is Kevin, your host, bringing it to you live each and every day, Monday through Friday, 4 p.m. from the network TV station in downtown Norwich. Today we're going to have a repeat customer here, good friend of the show, Kysim Lamaur. He's going to come on and talk about what Black history means to him during this February Black History Month. We'll also be talking a little bit about what's going on in the world of politics. As you know, the viewers of News Rocky, Kysim is the only one discovered amongst the black race Republican. According to some, I don't agree. I think there's many people of all races that love Donald Trump. We'll be back with Kysim Lamaur in a moment. Hey guys, welcome back to News Rocky, and this is Kevin, your host, and we have our friend Kysim Lamaur, who is from New London, Connecticut, football coach, volunteer. He's also a very, entrepreneurial kind of guy, loves to get on the radio and talk about his position. Yes, he's also a Republican, and he's a black man in America. We want to talk with Kysim today a little bit about Black History Month. But Kysim, how are you doing today as we bring you on? How are you?
Doing well. How you guys doing over there?
Everybody is happy here. We're at peace, man. We're good. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood kind of thing. A lot of things going on in the news, Kysim. And before we get into the Black History Month, I'd like to ask you something that has to do with discrimination, quite frankly. And I think it's something that was recently signed by the now President Joe Biden, executive order allowing males who identify as females in a transgender situation now are allowed to compete under this recommendation of President Biden. What do you feel as a football coach? How does that make you feel?
To be plain and simple, I completely disagree with it. And not just because he's a Democrat and I'm a Republican. I just disagree with it because to me it's unfair. And it should be unfair to most young women and young girls that's in middle school or high school or what have you, to compete with, I can't be politically correct to compete with the man, an actually born man. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem that I have with that, being as though, coaching, because I coach girls in football as well, mm-hmm. So I know it's a problem with them. Like, if somebody they could come to us, mm-hmm. but when we come to their sport, I think it's a huge problem.
Scientists has proven, right? I mean, we hear under this new administration that listen to the science with regards to COVID. Well, listening to the science with regards to humans, right? We are designed differently. I had a rant this week where I went off about Joe Biden, and we also talked about the Mavericks owner, Cuban, which we can talk about in a minute with him. But, I had this conversation, Kysim, and one of the things I really ranted into is, what is the purpose of this? Why would we want to allow someone who is physically more, able in a competitive, athletic way? And that's just a scientific fact. That, upset a woman or not, I'm sorry. Yeah, there's plenty of women that can knock me out, by the way, Kysim. There's women out there that are amazing athletes. We see it today in all aspects. But the most amazing athlete who's a woman is still going to get knocked out by the most amazing athlete who's a male. And that's science. Absolutely. And I'm sorry, but it's true. You agree?
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. As I said before, it's completely unfair. And as a parent, I wouldn't even want my daughter to be in an event if it's track or on the field, if it's field hockey or if it's soccer or well. I wouldn't, that's my opinion on that.
No, it makes sense. And Kysim, you're talking just with common sense, and you're approaching like now I have a daughter, although she didn't choose athletics as her right. pursuit. But let's face it. Let's say at 5 years old, my daughter wanted to be a gymnast, and my daughter or a runner, and we trained from 5 years old up till her high school senior year, where you get your scholarship offered, and now you're competing against Johnny. Because Johnny couldn't win in his sport because he's a male and he was substandard as a male sport athlete. Well, maybe Johnny also wants to put lipstick on. And let Johnny do what he wants. Wear a dress, I don't care. But unfairly competing against a female-born human is just not right to me.
And if they keep on putting this in doctrine, this confusion, a lot of people is going to fall apart, fall away from sports. And that's the most important thing to a lot of children and a lot of parents. My daughter, she same as your daughter, she didn't take on the athleticism as I did. She wanted to go another way. But even if she did play tennis. So even if she's playing tennis with a young man that's beating her, and she might be the best out of the women. But she all of a sudden is how do you say a transgender male, and he's competing against her and she loses. Who wins in that?
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I think you're bringing up some really valid points. And so, I think it's safe for the News Rocky listeners. They get where we're coming from. And probably most of the folks out there, please comment if you have an opinion. We always love that. But, Kysim, I also want to skip over to, and this is, again, we want to get into the Black History Month. But there's really an important a couple of things happening right now in this country. We talked a little bit about Joe Biden, his executive orders, all the stuff with that, the noise. Jobs are being cut under some bad policies. But right now, obviously, currently, the most important noise of the day created by corporate media has been this impeachment trial. Just quickly to you as an American, what do you feel about the proceedings going on with regards to this claim? And what do you think about some of those Democrats, some more vocal ones, that have actually gone out, like Maxine Waters? We can go right on Ileana, AOC. Many of them. I mean, we can go down and we can get to the House and the Senate, Pelosi and Schumer, all of them, right, have attacked this president. What's that make you feel like as an American?
It's like, what are we wasting our time with this impeachment when we have a whole bunch of things to get through, like helping the American people move forward from this COVID-19, this pandemic that we're facing.
Right.
But no, it seems like they're wasting a lot of money, a lot of energy in the mainstream media, and also with these with these politicians, these how should I say, these politicians that's on a take, establishment politicians is what I want to say. And it's like, we're wasting time. This president is out. I was listening to a young man today. He's another black man that's a conservative as well, on YouTube, and he was saying it like this. It's like, okay, if this occurs, when the Republicans take House, what if we move forward into trying to take Obama, impeaching him?
Very much can happen. That's a good point. It's a good point.
That's gonna happen because I don't think people remember when Obama he killed an American young man, I think it was, with a drone, and he ordered that kill.
Correct.
Benghazi's
under his watch. We got Benghazi. We have the Russian Gate situation. We have payoffs to Libya. There is a plethora of information that, and you bring up a really interesting point, and a lot of the scholars are saying, is it constitutional? I'm not a constitutional attorney. In fact, we just had an interview with an attorney, Norm Pattis, like we said, just an amazing guy, bright and brilliant, and he believes the constitutionality of the trial is okay, but not the facts of the case, and for that matter, should be dropped. The unfortunate part about it is, I believe, like you said, this is being politicized. Is it being politicized actually to create that bigger divide? And as a African-American black male in this country, regardless Republican or not, do you think the black community is taking this as maybe an opportunity to see justice for how they actually view, and I don't know if they all do, view Donald Trump?
I don't see this as justice. The people that I talk with, as I said before, I talk with many black men and women across the country. I don't just talk to black men and women in Jersey, New York, Connecticut. And what we're saying is, all the people that voted for Joe Biden, we're trying to figure out when our policies is going to come in for us, being as though we specifically voted for him. 80, not me, but 85% of us specifically voted for him. And when are we going to get something? All these bills that's being trying to be passed, and him signing a bunch of things going on. We're worried. Most of people that I talk to is worried about that. That impeachment is for, again, the mainstream media, the BETs, the congressional black caucuses of the world, all them. But the normal black folks, we're not sitting up here waiting for them to impeach Trump, because most black folks, what I talk to, that's not even they're not conservatives or they're not Republican. I mean, which liberals. They both. Some of them are conservatives or liberals, and what they would tell me is that it's a situation where we rather had Trump in office with this going on.
Do you think though that this is going to turn people off from this attempt by liberal Democrats, and particularly this administration, to take total control of the world? It seems like that's world domination in summary is really what I see. Do you think that's going to turn a lot of folks off, maybe in those more ethnically majority locations?
Yeah, what did he say? 74.5 voted for Trump. So what was that? 75.4 million.
Yeah. Yep. And he had the highest turnout for black vote ever in the history of any candidate.
Exactly, that as well. For the black men in general, it was about 20%. So with that being said, is that we're seeing what they're doing, and it's scary. If you talk to a lot of my friends that's from communist countries, they're telling me it looks just like what was going on with us. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you know Pitbull the rapper.
Of course, I've actually. It's a great point. Bring it up. I love it.
Yeah. Yep. Pitbull the rapper talked about this. He talked about what's going on with the COVID, what's going on with the restrictions and stuff like that. And he said he's talked to his parents, because he's first generation Cuban. Right. He talked to his parents, and his parents said it's looking more and more like Cuba. Right. And I think that's the reason why it was a big turnout of a lot of Latinos in Florida. Right. And in general, voting for Trump, because they see it, especially people that came from the communist countries. Right.
So as a Republican Trump supporter coming into this Black History Month, a lot of topics right now that have been driven down the narrative from corporate media, and sometimes, and you were on the show before, Kysim, and we talked a little bit about corporate media's objective to divide this country. How does that affect the divide in the Black America with regards to the media? Do you think the media is preying on Black America to actually divide us?
You always, like I said before, you always prey on the weak first. And some of us, like I said, I have conversations with many Black American people across this country. When you look at TV, when you look at TV, you will see a bunch of people on MSNBC, CNN, so-called Black Americans talking that victimhood. You go on Fox Sports, you go on ESPN, talking that victimhood stuff, and you talk to Black Americans on living a regular day, regular life. We see what the mainstream media have been doing, because we actually been looking towards facts, and the information that's out there to let you see what they are trying to push on us, and that's victimhood, right? And that's worrying about acceptance. I just start researching Mr. Thomas Sawyer. Okay. You ever heard of Mr. Thomas Sawyer? He's he's a what do you call that? Economics guy. Okay. He's a conservative as well. Yep. He talks about this. He talks about how the mainstream media will do what they possibly can to try to get the sheep to worry about things that they should worry about.
So you think that, so coming off into this, again, February, what's Black History Month mean to you, just as an American? Tell me what that kind of speaks to you as an American here in this time in 2021.
It means many things to me. Growing up in public schools, they teach you the regular stuff and everything else, and it's cool. That's what they want to document, as I said before. They're my favorite word today.
You got it.
But the situation with that is that Black history is American history. It's what we structured to be American history. It shouldn't be just a month. We shouldn't just generalize. This is what as I started to get older, I started to see how they want so much subliminal gestures. We want gestures after gestures. It's so much in Black history that people don't know, especially my people, especially when you live in areas as we live in, New London County area. We don't know enough. Black history is American history. Yeah, we've been here too long to be thinking that it's just our history and our history alone.
What does it make you feel when you bring that point up, Kysim? Again, Kysim Lamaur here with us, our good friend and hopefully contributor here to the News Rocky Show. What's that make you feel when you hear people sort of mentioning, cancel culture? You're talking about actually a way of exposing this 1 month is exposing some really big atrocities that have taken place in the population of African Americans and slavery here. What's that speak to you as far as that concept? It's just a very, it's an interesting conversation, your perspective on that.
And what that speaks to me in a way that you mean is how they would say, the situation with, if you say we just
cancel culture,
you need a month.
Yeah, you have a cancel culture, okay. and there's a creation now of canceling. This is a month for exposing those issues, and I like that we have this conversation, and unfortunately It shouldn't be once a month or once a year. It should be every month, every day. But also we have Columbus Day no longer. We have history here in this country that has been proven through historical research sometimes to be misguided and miscrewed. And let's face it, there's been bad apples at every level, and we did have a ruling of white sort of control of this country for many, many years. I don't feel it's that way anymore, but unfortunately there's a population that does. Cancel culture. What do you think about that in regards to possibly canceling Black history as well?
I got you. If it happens, it happens, because if you want it's tit for tat. It's you're looking for symbolic gestures. So when it comes on you, when it's time for other nationalities want to cancel your culture, you want to cancel your history of 1 month, whatever, because you can never cancel history. If you cancel history, it's going to repeat itself. But at the same time, we have to look at that like, all right, that can happen. Because we're trying to look for symbolic gestures as well, right? Of worry about Christopher Columbus and what he done or what he did or what stuff like that, or worry about actual leaders to make how the South is, how the North is, how the Midwest is. We want to cancel everybody, right? I feel as though I don't like cancel culture at all, and I heard Shannon Sharp. I really can't stand listening to this man. But when he talk about sports for about 5 minutes, I like to listen to that part. But when he talk about this wokeness, it tears me up.
He sits there in a $3,000 suit. Yeah, Shannon Sharp's in a $3,000 suit. He's made millions and millions of dollars, and he's an entertaining guy. But yet he has the same benefit that I didn't have. I didn't have that benefit. Okay.
And if you check back before. Actually, he was dissing. He was dissing Kaepernick. Yep. But in 2016, 17, and then all of a sudden, I guess he got a cancel culture on his back. He started to really change. Right. So, anyway, he was saying, some trick bag stuff today about the Dallas Mavericks owner. He was saying something about him today, and these people they're not looking for anything but a hug, acceptance, and symbolic gestures, and for worry about everyone else instead of worry about their community.
What do you think
And
about the
people
Mark Cuban?
yeah.
What about Mark Cuban, owner of the Mavericks? We actually went onto a rant this week about this, just like we did about Biden in part of this conversation. And my issue is this: I think Mark Cuban has made a really big mistake here. I was a lot more aggressive in my rant, but I'll tell you that Mark Cuban's wrong. His division tactics right now aren't helping America, A, and B, he's not going to help himself going forward, because I think the average everyday American who has to pay the bills and work every day, they love America, even in its imperfect days. Do you think this is the way that we should be going? I mean, should black anthems be the replacement to the actual, what is the national anthem here in America?
Black anthems definitely, if it's on some symbolic gestures, if it's on some because I don't want to be canceled, no, please don't play so-called black anthems. Just because you think it's going to lose money, and let's be honest, he even been losing money. All of the owners, I get the NFL Super Bowl was the lowest rating Super Bowl in 14, 15 years.
100%.
Because of the woke movement, the social justice movement,
Right.
And with his situation, if him trying not to, have the
National
anthem,
Right.
You're having what are you trying to prove? What out of those 75 million people that voted for Trump, what do you think they're gonna do when they hear stuff?
Right.
You think Dallas Mavericks already are really not a popular team.
Right.
You want to be more? You want to lose more money?
Well, evidently, I think Mark Cuban doesn't care, Kysim. I think
Yeah.
he's a guy, he's a billionaire, and he's arrogant, and he even has said he wanted to run for president. I'll tell you, he will never you can't recover from this one. I don't care where you go in America, you never make up those votes. Kysim, let me ask you a little bit about Black History Month as a young person growing up in this country. You talked about growing up in the Newark, New Jersey area, and the times back then in the late 80s, early 90s, we obviously had a lot of gang activity there. Black History Month then was different for this nation. Tell me a little bit about your childhood and what you remember as a Black history or historical points.
Well, from kindergarten to 8th grade, I didn't have a white teacher until 7th or 8th grade. And we always had, it was segregated, like I told you.
Do you ever felt like you've been racist in your life?
Probably because
of that upbringing with no white teachers. I asked that question. You bring it up. I just really want to, because you did not get exposed like many white, right? People don't get exposed to people of other cultures. Did that kind of slant your opinion back then?
I get what you're saying. Absolutely. It was a bunch of situations where, it was a bunch of situations where it felt like I had to get to know these people. Again, Newark, New Jersey is one of the most, in those days especially, it's one of those segregated cities.
Right.
Just like I told you, Chicago, Detroit.
Right.
It was many different places. And when I started seeing white folks, I had to get, used to it. I used to see white police officers, and I used to see white, social workers, and that's all I used to see. I saw a white judge before I was 14, so by the time I was 14, this was not 13, 14, that's when I started seeing white people all the time.
Okay.
White kids, I had to get to know them. But the things that I heard from white, my black grandmother or, homeboys and stuff like that, I had to get used to it. I had to know them, you know what I'm saying? Right. And I think sports did me good. That's why, I always tell people football made me the man that I am in a lot of different ways, especially when it came to race, when it came to politics, when it came to everything, when it came to brotherhood, that sport made me the man I am. The people that I have friends today is because of football.
Right.
And before football, before all this, moving from north to a suburban area, again, it took some time to grow on seeing, even Asian people, because I saw, I grew up with Hispanics, but I never grew up with, an Asian person or a white person until I was like 14, 13 years old. Yeah.
Right. This is so hearing your story, your upbringing. I'm hearing the significance of your upbringing and how you were impacted with your community, and then you expanded your community. You just talked about sports really saving you in a sense of the opportunity. And the kids today have such a big challenge. And what do you think, in your opinion, Kysim, is the biggest challenge to the young black male today in these places like you grew up?
Let's talk about Black history. The young black male need to understand that Black history is American history. That's the first thing. Black history is many different things, many different inventors. 10 to 20 years after slavery was abolished, 30 years after slavery was abolished, Black people households was stronger than it is today. Businesses, we had trades, we owned houses, we built houses, we did all this stuff to make our community strong. Even when people, you would have people, white Southerners or just white people in general that was trying to destroy it. We would still build. We wasn't worried about what people thought of us. We wasn't looking for validation 70, 80 years ago. We wasn't looking for that. And if we actually do our research on real Black American history, we will understand that, being as though Martin Luther King is my hero, Rosa Parks was a hero of mine growing up and stuff like that. But all these people was, all these people that was in the civil rights movement, they kind of messed up the shift of the Black family, the community and things of that nature. And if young Black, you have to know your history, your real history before anything. I know Asian people that know their real history. I know Jewish people that know their real history, Italians, Irish people, many different nationalities that know their real history. And I really think that's extremely important.
So understanding what the history is always something that we should all learn from. Let me, as we're wrapping up here, Kysim, I want to say that it's always a pleasure to have you come on here. We'll reach back out to you. We'll try to get this into a weekly or every other week thing. I love your perspective. We get a lot of I got a lot of feedback from the first show you were on. Everyone loved you. They wanted you back. They like the fact that you speak plainly. You're not arrogant. You're not like I will tell you, sometimes I watch some of the more younger sort of Black, sort of Republican conservatives. They really are some arrogant folks out there that, they want they almost want to make you feel stupid in order to divide themselves from people. And I find that on the same other side. Obviously, there's a lot of white idiots. I can quote Anderson Cooper. We can go down the list of them all. But, I find you to be refreshing, and I think the people do when you speak. Isn't it? Right. Where do you think this whole divide in our country, just as we get ready to part ways here today from this interview, where are we going to be 5 to 10 years from now, in your opinion, just quickly in a few words, with this racial divide that's going on so actively through the media and through sort of party politicians?
Right. First off, I want to thank everybody that's been showing love to me as well. I want to make that clear, and I really want to be on News Rock.
Can you say that once more? We just launched you. I want to hear that. But I want to hear you say you want to be on News Rocky, because that was a great commercial, but we lost you for a second. Just say that again. Yeah.
I said I want to be on News Rocky all the time.
Oh, perfect.
I want to make that clear.
Thank you, man.
I want to make that happen.
All right.
Yes. But Oh, could you say your question?
No, really the future. I mean, let's say 5 years from now, with this big social divide, this political divide, we got some dangerous days ahead. And I'm wondering what your thoughts are. I mean, here we are in February 2021. February 2026, we'll be celebrating Black History Month. Where do you think it's going to be? And just in a quick few words as we wrap it up.
I think it's going to be a situation where we don't have men and women such as ourselves to make sure these young people that's coming up understand logical facts. It's going to be pretty nasty if we don't have that. If we keep on getting these kids to, you think one way and that's it. And if you disagree with us, we're going to cancel you. If you disagree with us a little bit, we're just going to cancel you. Right. We got to let these young men and women understand that it's okay to have a diversity in thinking. It's okay. And again, my platform to your platform to other people's platform that's going to tell you the real, that's going to give you the facts. We need to make sure we keep on riding this train of, teaching knowledge, understanding logical things, because if we don't, this cancel culture is going to get crazier and crazier, and we're going to turn into a communist country.
Very well. Well, listen, Kysim Lamaur, I got to tell you, I'm so thankful that we got to meet. I'm so thankful that you're a contributor to the News Rocky Show. And we'll work on that everyday thing. The more we monetize this, the more sponsorship we bring in, the more we can afford to spread the love. We'll definitely look at it. But for now, what we're going to do is count on you contributing through your vision of the world we live in. And, you're a Republican. You're not a black Republican. And I want to say this. Yeah. I thought about it after the first show, although we wanted to catch some energy. And I'm not afraid of those terms, because we want people to listen. We want people to understand you are a Republican American. And we need to start thinking, as you said on this show today, we have to stop qualifying race as part of a conversation. It should be the conversation about the topic, not about the human skin color of a conversation. Kysim Lamaur, I want to say thank you. We're actually going to wind up here. I will reach out to you offline. Thank you so much. God bless. And you keep on striving to make America great.
Absolutely. You as well. Can't wait to hear from you again. Get at me.
Got you.
All right. Oh, one more thing.
Go ahead. Point it out. Go ahead. Yep. Go ahead. Say it.
Sorry about that.
No, go ahead.
One more thing. Please, if you want to reach me, is at Kysim Lamaur YouTube, and it's Kysim Lamaur Facebook, and Kysim Lamaur, Truth Daily _ 35 on Instagram.
There it is. That's where you can find Kysim Lamaur, our special guest calling in today. We thank him very much, and we thank you, the News Rocky supporters out there, for viewing this great show. As always, bringing you some interesting. One day I get on this in the set and I just start screaming and yelling and ranting. Other days we have really intellectual conversations and have great guests like Kysim Lamaur. We appreciate you tuning in Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. We come to you live right here from the downtown Norwich, Connecticut. That's right, we're in Norwich, Connecticut, at the Forward TV station, coming to you with this great content, News Rocky. It's your host, Kevin, from the production team and all. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow in the ring with News Rocky.